Thank you, Mr. Chairman. General Kurilla, last year you highlighted the fact that you were suffering from a significant drop in ISR capabilities in Afghanistan since the August 2021 withdrawal. Former Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, testified this week before the House Foreign Affairs Committee that the withdrawal was a strategic failure. In your testimony today, you highlight that both ISIS-K and al-Qaeda are using Afghanistan as a safe haven. You also say that the Taliban's inability or unwillingness to rein in violent extremist organizations could destabilize Central and South Asia. General, due to the continued lack of ISR in Afghanistan, can you explain how the 2021 withdrawal has opened up the United States and our allies to increased terror threats?
Congresswoman, my number one priority is to protect the homeland, to prevent an attack from coming out of Afghanistan. But every day I am balancing risk. I'm balancing risk between an attacks in Iraq and Syria, the Red Sea, and Afghanistan, and I'm dynamically shifting ISR to be able to do that and manage that risk based on the imminent threats, and we do that on a daily basis. What we are seeing internal to Afghanistan right now is an increase in activity of the violent extremist organizations. We are working with our partners, that includes Pakistan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, who have access into these countries and tremendous insight, both through their human networks, to be able to understand exactly what has happened to augment the airborne ISR that we have.
With the continued lack of ISR, though, how can the administration actually effectively monitor any Iranian or CCP influence efforts in Afghanistan?
So not all ISR is airborne, so I would tell you that, when we look at the intelligence piece of it, we're looking for human, as well as we try to rebuild some of the human networks since we have pulled out to be able to monitor that, and we work through our partners as well.
So do we have more boots on the ground then?
We don't have any boots on the ground. So what you can have is you can do over-the-horizon human, and we can also work through partners and allies.
And how are those going?
I think we are getting some insights. It is very difficult. There's also, in a classified setting, I can tell you some of the other means in which we monitor them.
Have you requested additional assets be deployed to Afghanistan?
I have identified the requirements that I have to the Department of Defense.
So you have identified them. Have you requested them?
I don't think any combatant commander, I have requested them. I don't think any combatant commander has the numbers they need.
What is the response from the Secretary in the White House regarding those requests or identifications?
Again, I would say that there's no combatant commander, Mike Langley included, who doesn't have all of the resources that they require. But what I do is identify the risk of not getting those.
Okay, maybe we're not tracking here. You have identified the need, correct?
Correct.
And what has the response been from the Secretary in the White House?
So we received some assets, some other things I've requested I have not received. And so based on that, I adjust my ISR throughout the region to identify the risk at the time.
Would you say you received 10%, 20%, 80%, 90% of what you've requesed?
I couldn't give you exact percentage right now, ma'am.
Give me a gut feel. I'm trying to.
Well, I want to be accurate.
This is a very concern.
Well, it is, and I mean we have. So what you look at the requirements, the only place I'm not being shot at right now is Afghanistan. So I'm adjusting that ISR where we were being shot at in Iraq and Syria.
And
I put it on.
And I understand that. I understand that, sir. I'm just trying to get an answer to my question. So you've requested some. Some could be a little, a lot. You don't have any gut feel on, I've requested X and I've received Y?
I do know the number of what I've requested. A lot of it's big-wing ISR to be able to do things. And what I can do is I get ISR in one area, I can shift it over to another area. But we are at a reduced number inside of Afghanistan right now.
Okay. I mean, I know the world is focused on violent conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine, as they should be, and the potential threat of China moving against Taiwan, but the threat of terrorism is looming, right? Afghanistan right now is a hotbed for terrorism.
It is.
I mean, Afghanistan has fallen back into the hands of the Taliban, which has no interest in deterring terrorism against the West. It is imperative that Congress provide CENTCOM the necessary resources to better monitor and engage in necessary any potential terror threats. Thank you.
Gentlelady's time.